Yo, Genshin Impact. Geht weiter. Der nächste Stream. Ja. Bisschen Hauptstory weitermachen natürlich. Was denn sonst? Was denn sonst? Wir müssen als nächstes in das Büro. Und uns noch Wasserdude. Oh Gott. Auch in Discord Bescheid geben. Wie immer. Genshin Smiley. Pow, push. Bang. So. Ups. Mikro ein bisschen umgestellt, dass die Audioqualität auch gut ist. Dailies habe ich auch schon gemacht. Alles habe ich schon gemacht. Richtig krass. Ne, nicht alles. Ich habe noch... Was? Machen wir hier ein paar Runs. Einfach so. Weil wir gerade erst angefangen haben. Dass noch alle Leute dazukommen können. Ja. Ey. Hallo, Bennett. Oh, der schöne Bär. Das bin ich. Geht ab. Ich mache hier so 2 Runs, nicht viel. Einfach nur, dass ich nicht so viele Condensed Resins auf einmal habe. Eng, eng.
Inazuma shines eternal. Gotcha. Take it easy.
Hallo, Bibi. Wenn ich sonst den Chat nicht verwenden kann. Eieiei. Du benutzt einen VPN? Interessant. So, jetzt noch den Run und dann gehen wir gleich Hauptstory weitermachen. Surfshark halt. Oh. Interessant. Hey. So, mal schauen. Mal Glück. Irgendwas krasses. Noch nebenher. Ein Angriff, aber die Flat Stats mag ich nicht. So. Story Quest weitermachen. Wieder mit Blitzer und Hund die Monster das Spiel ist. Oh lol. Also mit Blizzard, puh. Weiß nicht, ob sich das noch irgendwann mal ergeben wird. Vielleicht holt er sich das nächste, vielleicht kommt das nächste Monster ja direkt auf dem PC raus. Und wenn er es dann auch hat und mitspielen will, kann er das gerne machen. Weil der gute Blizzard ja meistens mit anderen Dingen beschäftigt ist. Unser netter Minecraft-Freund. Aber ja, mit Hunti bestimmt mal bald wieder, wenn ein neues Monster da rauskommt. Oder was ich auch schon irgendwann machen will, wann genau, weiß ich jetzt noch nicht, ist Monster Hunter 3. Da gibt es jetzt so Leute, die es geschafft haben, das wieder online tüchtig zu machen. Und das wäre schon geil. Aber es ist halt auch gleichzeitig etwas anstrengend. Das kann also noch ewig dauern.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Jo.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's files are
Ja.
really secure.
Generation 3 ist auch die beste.
Don't you recognize us? Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep, yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason to be here.
Riesenschönes Spiel. Extrem klein, aber super geil.
Shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Was musst du denn so machen, Hunti?
Is that even a thing?
Bewerbungen schreiben oder?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just
Idee,
inside.
Würde mich freuen.
Thanks so much.
Ja, also es wird irgendwann mal auf jeden Fall noch kommen. Da habe ich, also gehe ich stark von aus jedenfalls. Das kann halt ewig dauern. Erwarte da nicht zu früh was. Ja. Du.
Please come in.
Jo. Oh.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Jetzt ein Feuerball.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm
Hm.
quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
War jetzt alles umsonst.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that
Jo,
so?
Massi. Was
Alright
geht?
then. Thank you so much,
Was
Monsieur
läuft?
Violette. We'll take our leave now.
Wie sieht es eigentlich bei dir aus? Ich habe gar nicht mitbekommen, dass du streamst. Ist gerade Pause. Brauchst du eine Auszeit? Oder war ich einfach nur blind und hab's nicht mitbekommen? Das kann auch sein.
Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things
Ja, man braucht mal
because you
Pausen.
felt like you should. It's just
Pikachu
like last time.
OG-Fan, hallo.
After my father took his place
Was
in the
geht?
duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead.
Mhm.
In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear.
Mir geht es
If you
wunderbar.
truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel?
Wir sind hier gerade
Why
voll in
didn't
der
you give me the
Genshin-Story
power to
drin.
stop him
Yo.
from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Despised and hated by all. Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone.
Oh.
It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice.
Oha.
My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler in Paimon.
Jo. Ich habe übrigens gesehen, was die neuen Banner sind. Voll krass. Selbst der, achso, der Waffenbanner sieht voll heftig aus. Wobei mir das halt gar nichts bringen wird. Schlecht getimt, ich habe keine Primus dafür.
I'm fine.
Also der Banner, der kommt.
Rain. It's raining.
Mit Hutau und so.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
Regen.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Hat er drin oder draußen stattgefunden?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value.
Damals fehlte euch aber eine entscheidende Information.
Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
Die Tatsache, dass sich Menschen in Wasser verwandeln können.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain? Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Oh,
Do
sure.
you want to
This
go with me
time.
now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later?
Oh. Ja, wir können gleich mit. Lass uns keine Zeit verlieren.
Let's go
Sonst
then.
gleich mitschleppen. Bang, bang, bei der Busch und so.
Clear skies can do
Oh,
nothing to
und
hide the brilliance of lightning.
Frage an den Chat, was spielt ihr denn so momentan? Ich warte ja momentan auf das neue Mario, das wird bestimmt ganz nett. Ein kleines Spiel nebenher. Ich weiß auch gar nicht, ob ich das streamen soll oder nicht. Eine Idee. Alternativ. Ich meine, sonst eigentlich nicht hier. Worauf warte ich noch? Eigentlich gibt es noch andere Spiele, die ich spielen sollte. Ich habe Pikmin noch nicht durchgespielt. Pikmin 4. Ich habe schon ein ganzes Stück gespielt, aber da könnte ich auch wieder weiterspielen. Ich weiß gar nicht, ich habe irgendwie aufgehört, weil... Ah, wegen Baldur's Gate, genau. Das habe ich auch noch nicht durch. Oh, so viele Spiele immer. Kommt da gar nicht hinterher. Ui, ein Reiter. Außerdem, wozu alles sind wir hier überhaupt? Ich möchte das markieren auf meiner Karte. Genau hier. Jo, guten Hunger, Marci. Und so, da geht es. Nein, wie weit? Ich wusste nicht, dass er so weit weg geht jetzt. Ich dachte, wir landen jetzt bei dem Primo, der da hinten angezeigt, nicht Primo, bei dem Ding ist, der da hinten angezeigt wird. Jo, danke, Marci. Genau, Daumen auch nach oben. Oh, das wird immer gern gesehen. Huch. Hat mich jetzt einfach hier hingebracht. Da wollte ich nicht hin. Egal, wir haben ja den Wegpunkt. So. Und hier haben wir den... Haben wir nicht? Da oben, ja. Hol ich mir jetzt nicht.
Whoa! What a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place like this?
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
Ich glaube, ich verstehe langsam, warum es dir gefällt.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
Sprich mit Melos auf dem Schiff. Okay. Oh, hier ist auch noch ein... Den will ich. Ui! Boing. Ich will markieren. Die wären nämlich ganz schön nervig, wenn wir die nicht markieren. Oh. Ach, ich wollte auch mein Team. Genau. Weil wir hier einfach nur die Story durchspielen, nämlich extra ein schwächeres Team. Tada. Dass wir nicht alles einfach one-hitten. Was vergessen. Wobei meine Linette mittlerweile ganz solid ist. Kann überraschend gut reinhauen. Mit dem will ich reden, aber irgendwo ist hier auch noch ein Hydrokulus. Sagt mir die Karte. Ja, wo? Ich war da unten. Ja. Na gut. Hallo Melos.
Meloose, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
Poisson.
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Könnte hinter all dem ein und dieselbe Person stecken?
Could
Oh.
you tell us a bit more about what happened
Ich wette, es
before?
war Paimon, ich sag's euch.
Yeah.
Hört euch an.
Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant
Eine Droge.
hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene.
Könnte sie der Person gehören, die aufgelöst wurde?
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired.
Ja gut. Die aufgelöste Person hat auf den Kollegen geschossen und der Buddy von Navia auf die aufgelöste Person und die hat sich dann auflösen lassen. Aber es könnte sich genauso eine dritte Person eingemischt
You're
haben.
right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth.
Okay.
On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as you're and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, Demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take this on.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, Demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live. And the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina di Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol,
Rocky, was geht?
but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake
Du bist
of
fleißig am
everyone
Pikmin spielen,
involved,
habe ich gesehen.
I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that
Ganze
the
Serie.
amount of confidence
Richtig nice.
he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I
Sehe ich
am
in
now?
letzter Zeit öfters, dass jetzt wegen Pikmin 4 mega viele Leute auf einmal die alten Pikmin-Spiele spielen, wobei du die ja auch schon davor kanntest. Er wollte dir die Wahl lassen.
Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the
Pikmin 3 hat
specifics
einen
of the
Hardmode?
incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we may be able to capture. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Interessant.
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Maloose.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for
Ich hole mir vermutlich auch Pikmin 1 und 2 für die Switch.
For all of that, Maloose.
Gibt ja dieses Combo-Ding.
Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant planted here. When I announced orders to the organization's members,
Also ich habe auch beide schon mal gespielt, aber nie durch. Nur ein
I used to
bisschen.
deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the
Aber selbst wenn ich die nicht
informed
wirklich
of
viel
our
spiele, dann
orders
habe ich
must
sie
be
halt,
innocent.
was ganz Nettes.
If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture this whole time. There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
Was ist diese Confrérie?
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard
Und der
to believe.
Butler, der könnte
If
auch
you want to
sein.
investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Maloose. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence. After that incident, Jacques' wife
Sorry.
and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner.
Du kannst auf mich zählen.
I hope we can work together to uncover the truth
Ja,
and end this
ich
case
glaube, es ist Melus,
once and for all.
weil er jetzt als der Beste dargestellt wird. Und es ein Plot-Twist wäre, wenn, oh mein Gott, es war in Wirklichkeit immer Melus. Bum, 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 bum. Ja, ja, oh. Bilder hoch. Ja. Aha. Ich wusste es. Ding. Markieren. Ich habe noch nicht mega viel erkundet. In Fontaine.
I have no need.
Muss ich auch noch irgendwann? Sollte ich irgendwann, dass ich schön an Primos komme? Weil Furina will ich unbedingt haben. Ich hätte aber auch nichts dagegen im nächsten Banner. Also nur mal, dass man sich die anschauen kann. Im nächsten Waffenbanner was zu bekommen. Weil, ich meine, die Waffe, die ist mega geil. Statstick, die Waffe, ich meine, Homer auch mega krass. Und dieses Schwert ist schon mal zum Beispiel voll gut für Furina. Dann gibt es hier noch 2 Favonius-Waffen mega gut. Die hier kenne ich nicht und die hier kenne ich nicht. Also, es ist schon ein richtig guter Banner. Wobei die Wahrscheinlichkeit, dass man da was bekommt, halt, ja, es ist halt ein Waffenbanner. Und ich müsste eigentlich, schauen wir mal, ob ich hier was habe. Es wird mir nicht angezeigt, wie weit ich bin. Aber 12? Wer weiß. Wäre schon cool, was Krasses zu bekommen. Vor allem Homer und dann noch das Schwert. Aber ich möchte erstmal garantiert Furina haben, wo ich auch nicht so weit weg bin. Weil ich hier garantiert Garantie drauf habe. Wir sind hier also 7 Pity, 37, 40, 50. Dann fehlt nicht mehr mega viel. Also das wäre auf jeden Fall möglich. Vor allem, wenn ich halt hier noch nicht so viel erkundet habe. Hallo Justin.
Please excuse me and enjoy
Du
your
badest gerne in
conversation at your
Hackfleisch.
leisure.
Thank you for
Natürlich.
arranging everything for us.
Wer
Malus.
nicht?
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
Rocky, bist du
And
da?
to all of us.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Wegen dem PC-Part.
Mind sharing it
Ich
with me?
könnte schon nachschauen.
I really
Ich kann halt nur
can't
das gleiche
believe
machen wie du
that
und
my
nach
father
googeln.
could ever bring himself
Wobei
to
jetzt
shoot Jacques.
Lüfter.
always knew that my husband's
Und
money was earned through others' suffering.
also wenn
He
es
told me
CPU-Lüfter
countless
ist.
times
Und
that if he could
Arbeitsspeicher
turn
müsste
back
ja
the
im
clock, he would
Mainboard
never go into the
Buch drin
sinful
stehen,
seas
Handbuch.
again. He had many regrets and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a
Und dann könntest du mal
proposal,
nachschauen.
he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
Und du solltest Hunti nicht Dinge glauben, wenn er irgendwas
About
schreibt.
his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us.
Soll das etwa heißen, dass jemand Chakes angewiesen hat, Herrn Callas zu ermorden?
I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Oh.
Thank you.
Wir werden die Wahrheit
I'm very
herausfinden.
grateful to hear this from you.
Brr.
Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Hey. Oh.
Are you okay?
Beziehungsweise Arbeitsspeicher musste ich mal irgendwo nachschauen, glaube ich.
I'm fine. Don't worry.
Das steht auch normalerweise bei der Webseite von den Herstellern.
Florent should be nearby, and we should be able to find
Drauf.
Thierry and Uncle Marcel.
Kannst ja mal googeln, ist ganz einfach dann hier.
I'll get myself together on
Und
the
falls du wirklich nichts findest, sag mir Bescheid, dann kann ich mal gucken. Aber versprechen kann ich nichts. Ich bin Software-Dude und nichts mit Hardware. Oh.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
It also reminded me,
Wasser drücken.
on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth at each other, not knowing what to say.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
Ja, natürlich.
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him.
Ich habe in letzter Zeit auch
The gun he
Baba
was
is
holding
You gespielt.
probably
Ein
belonged to
bisschen.
Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Richtiges
Yeah, that makes a lot
Gehirnschmelzespiel.
of sense.
Aber
So
voll gut.
you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything, once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may
Boss.
just say one more thing. The whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life I lead today. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most. And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
Hey! Oh. Ein etwas weiterer Weg. Oh, da ist auch direkt Thierry.
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Ah, yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you
Oh.
have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all
Sehr
you need to
klar
do is get rid
ausgesagt,
of the
ja.
mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Haben wir Sinn vor ihm erwähnt?
Oh,
Aber das war, wissen wir.
then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
Okay. Hat noch gefehlt. Melde dich bei Marcel. Okay. Beziehungsweise wir können auch gleich noch zum Schmied. Wie sieht es eigentlich hier aus? Hier ist die Abenteuergilde und da ist dann... Der Schmied hier so weit weg ist, ist ein bisschen doof. Fontaine wird also nicht meine Standardstadt. So. Hier ist der. Ich muss auch noch hier die Dinger kaufen. Wobei ich nicht wirklich vorhabe, einen davon zu machen, oder? Eid des Lebens. Bitte Angriff. Nee. Ja, ich brauche nicht wirklich eins von denen. Momentan jedenfalls noch nicht. Mal schauen. Mal schauen. Was ich aber machen wollte, ist hier noch ein paar Erze reinballern. Huch. Ey. Kondensenzkristall kann man hier verwenden. Oh. Weil man die niemals so schnell so viel bekommen wird wie das da hier. So. Teleportation. Ja, von hier.
Hello, how may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navia's looking for him.
Sure, I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so my legs are giving out a bit.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you saw everything too, right?
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve in water?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating now?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to act.
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Einen Gunshot?
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more, see if there are any valuable clues elsewhere.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
Hey, okay, von dem kam nicht so viel. Oh, dann dürfen wir jetzt wieder analysieren. Das wird interessant. Was macht eigentlich Wei Schaubauer? Hier, Mr. Liebe. Ich habe mich wohl diesmal nicht beherrschen können. Spontane Ankäufe? Genau. Ich dachte, wenn ich schon einmal eine seltene Reise machen kann, dann darf ich nicht so streng mit mir sein und... Scheiße. Die anderen Sachen sind nicht so schlimm. Aber was mache ich mit den paar Dutzend Flaschen Parfüm, die ich gekauft habe? So viele kann ich ja nicht einmal verschenken. Andererseits könnte ich es auch so sehen, dass ich eine lange Proben gekauft habe. Wie auch immer, ich habe noch einen langen Urlaub. Sehr geschäftsorientiert. Kriegen wir jetzt was? Kriegen wir? Hey, Marcotte. Ja, wir haben Blumen bekommen. Ja. Oh. Ein Bild. Sehr schön. Diese blöden Hunde erinnern mich jedes Mal an Pokémon. Pokémon XY war es, glaube ich. Ja, auch überall rumgelatscht und hatten doofe Frisuren. Also gut, die haben keine Frisuren, die haben ja Hüte, aber trotzdem.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Keiner von den dreien stach wirklich als Verdächtiger hervor.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start?
Bei Chuck's Motiv.
You're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to
Yo,
Jacques' family members,
Kalle.
he already told them that he had been
Geht ab.
discovered and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to
Haben
guess,
sich die Fahrzeuge
he
wieder
probably received an
gefunden.
order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Wenn ich an seiner Stelle gewesen wäre, sähe ich keinen Grund zu feuern.
Oh? And why is that?
Wäre der Mord an Herrn Callas etwa nicht sein Todesurteil gewesen, hätte er die Sicherheit seiner Familie garantieren können, wenn er Herrn Callas getötet hätte?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the order and seek protection from my father.
Anscheinend war ein Dritter der Auslöser dafür, dass die Situation kippte.
Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
Oh. Wer war ja, achso, das war der Polizist, nicht? Fuck, wer war jetzt der letzte? Ich glaube Marcel?
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques.
Ich glaube trotzdem, dass es
And with funds from the
Melus
Confrérie,
war. Melus.
he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
Vielleicht war das jemand anderes. Oh. Laurent.
Florent?
Ich habe hier nur falsche Antworten, oder was?
He was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much means when it comes to finances.
Der andere auch nicht.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to dispatch a whole group so quick.
Nein, er ist der Letzte, aber er hat auch das auch nicht
Very, you
Geld.
say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert the Gardamex for personal use. But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how that happened.
Who could it be?
Ich glaube. Bam, bam, bam. Ach nee, jetzt kommt wieder das Spiel. Ich glaube. Aber immer noch, ja.
You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable.
Ich vertraue dir
His
nicht.
judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the three, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight.
Melus.
Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Oh. Er steht jetzt schließlich ziemlich nah.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Der Ort, an dem das Sint hergestellt wird.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
Der Graf?
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner, what do you think we should do? We still haven't found any conclusive evidence.
Teilen wir uns auf.
Huh? Split up? What do you mean?
Du gehst nach Irenaeus und wir gehen nach du weißt schon wo.
Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House and charge Marcel as the true culprit. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
Du kannst auf mich zählen.
We'll help you.
Und wenn Marcel nicht schuld ist, dann wird es ihm das Herz brechen.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require our assistance. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the
Ich vertraue ihm immer noch nicht.
by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the Opera House.
Jo!
See you then.
Abgemacht! Ab nach du weißt schon wo. Boom, 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 boom. Bam, 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 bam.
Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus,
Wo
we should
sind wir
also get
jetzt?
going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
Ja. Piu, 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 piu. Oh, ich habe kein Wasser. Was hier vielleicht etwas Schlechtes? Hm? Na, nicht. No. Kann ich Wasser aufnehmen? Nope. Schon. Nice. Ja, wenn wir schon hier sind, dann können wir das natürlich auch ausnutzen. Frage ist, wo sind wir genau? Hier oben. Ups. Die gehen jetzt. Oh, hier hin. Oh. Hier gibt es wohl noch einige. Machen wir das. Da ist eine Pferdetruhe. Die will ich. Allgemein in Fontaine sind einige fette Truhen. Was ich schön finde. Wobei das nicht unbedingt viel heißen muss. Vielleicht gibt es ja auch einfach weniger dafür. Wie von. Oh, ihr wirst, die wissen genau, wie weit verarscht. Das ist ihr. Das, was sie am besten können.
I have no need.
Los, let's go, Mario. Mittlerweile ballern wir alles weg. Ich glaube, meine Fische ist einfach zu krass. Ist aber auch heftig, wie die einfach durch alles gebufft wird. Oh. Was zum? Wie? Das wirkt nicht so, als wäre das, was ich machen sollte. Okay, schauen wir mal, was es hier bei den Fischen gibt. Wird dir eine neue Waffe geben, wenn man fischen kann. Mal gucken, ob es sich lohnt, für mich die zu holen. Wobei ich sogar die geholt habe, die sich gar nicht lohnt. Diese aus dem Dendro-Dingens. Den Fisch. Wo versteckt er sich denn? Hier. Habe ihn noch nicht ganz verfeinert, aber ja, ist jetzt nicht die beste Waffe. Zeig mal, was gibt's denn hier? Okay. Oh, das ist die. Oh, die hier. Oh. Ich meine, die ist gar nicht mal so schlecht, ja. Nicht so gut wie Favonius. Aber man kriegt sie halt einfach so und kann sie verbessern. Vielleicht hole ich sie mir. Vielleicht wäre es ja was für Furina, ich weiß es nicht. Was hätte ich denn für Furina überhaupt für Schwerter? Mann. Habe ich denn. Ich meine, so ein Opferschwert. Ich weiß nicht, ob das für sie gut ist. Man kennt ja noch nicht so viel von ihr. Und sonst, naja, nicht wirklich. Was? Müsst halt wissen, was man für sie braucht. Mit der serbischen Oma. Oha. Als Köchin selbst Cevapcici, mit Čuvek, Reis und Tzatziki gemacht. Nice. Den Knoblauch merkst du immer noch. Knoblauch ist das einfach das Beste. Ich koche auch immer mit sehr, sehr viel Knoblauch. Aber ja, das geht ja mal richtig ab. Jetzt bist du krasser Cevapcici Master. Nicht gut. Und gibt es irgendwelche Geheimtricks, die du uns verraten kannst? Geheimdinge der Geheimlichkeiten. Der Geheimlichkeiten. Müsste hier nicht noch so ein Dingens fehlen? Oh. Müsste doch irgendwo noch so ein... Ich muss sich zuerst den da hier holen. Die macht Öle ins Sackfleisch und frittiert die Cevapcici mehr. Oh. Interessant. Öl ins Hackfleisch. Ja. Meine Oma macht auch ziemlich gute Cevapcici. Ich weiß aber nicht, wie sie die macht. Muss ich sie mal fragen. Vielleicht wäre das ein Versuch wert. Also mehr als sie gebraten werden. Halt einfach mit mehr Öl. Ja. Nicht gut. Dann werde ich das vielleicht mal versuchen. Ich habe selber noch nie Cevapcici gemacht, aber vielleicht kann ich das mal. Ich meine, das schmeckt halt geil. Was soll man sagen? Cevapcici unglaublich geil. Meine Oma macht auch immer so eine süße Paprikasoße zu, die mega geil ist. Und eine andere Variante, wie ich die auch gerne esse, ist mit Oh, wie heißt das? Diese rote Pampe, die auch aus Paprika gemacht wird. Jetzt fällt mir der Name nicht ein. Ins Hack reibt sie Zwiebel, Knoblauch und etwas Paprika. Und dann kein Paniermehl oder Ei. Kein? Okay. Und was hält dann das Fleisch zusammen? Mal ganz doof gefragt. Oh, oh lol. Ins Wasser rein. Oh. Du. Weiter in die Richtung. Dann vor dem Braten noch eine halbe Stunde im Kühlschrank ziehen. Ah, okay, okay. Noch gekühlt dann, ja, ja. Und dann und darum frittieren dann. Weil wenn man es normal braten würde, könnte es dann ja wieder auseinanderfallen, ne? Das ergibt Sinn. Nice. Oh, oh.
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all.
Wir werden sicher im Inneren etwas Außergewöhnliches finden.
You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms.
Wie redet ihr unter was mit uns?
Probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
Währenddessen in der Opera Epicles. Oh. Bin ich jetzt Navi, ja?
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
Oh.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man.
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is...
Oh nein. Ja, okay, war nur ständig am Schimpfen. Eine Perfektionistin, finde ich gut. Ich meine, da hat sie auch nur recht. Olivenöl ist ja nicht fürs Kochen, ja. Olivenöl ist vielleicht für einen Salat, aber doch nicht fürs Kochen. Eieiei. Kalle, eieiei. Analyse über den Verdächtigen.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court.
Tja. Tja, Kalle, das ist deine Meinung, aber die Meinung der Oma ist wohl anders und meine Meinung dann auch. Ich benutze es auch, weil es halt, weißt du, gesund und so, aber Olivenöl darf nicht so heiß werden und das ist schlecht, Mann.
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Bum, 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 bum.
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Oh, ich muss klicken.
During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun,
mein Bild ist im Weg.
while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life.
Hey, nice und
The suspect did not dispute this conclusion.
Jetzt habe ich aufgepasst,
and also
verdammt.
declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
Ah. Okay, wir haben das hier, genau. Da gab es dieses Bankett. Gab es 2 Schüsse, während der Feier hörte alle 2 Schüsse von außerhalb des Anwesens. Die Untersuchung ergab, dass Callas mörderische Absichten hegte und Jacques ermordete, der ihn verraten hat. Aber ist das wirklich wahr? Als die Gäste am Ort ist, hat er gesagt, ich habe eine Schusswaffe in der Hand, während eine Schusswaffe erlag. Ihr Zeuge war eine Flucht für andere nach Begehung des Verbrechens unmöglich. Aha. Eine Drittperson. Boom. So, genau hier gibt es dieses Urwasser. Wobei, es muss doch da rein. Dann muss das Urwasser hier rein.
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once
This is Ace Attorney,
used
ja.
by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene.
Oh
And
lol.
that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was rain
wirst zu einer
that day,
Band, Tonti.
the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice.
Das hier könnte hier auch reinpassen. Ja, vielleicht. Wenn ihr stirbt, stritt keine der Schusswaffen ab und lädt es sich. Da haben wir noch. Mal gucken. Keine Besitz. Oh! Das hier. Das kommt hier rein.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callas, only for Callas to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead.
Und hier ist eigentlich die. Wer hat uns gesagt? Keine Waffe. Wo ist diese eine andere Information? Das hier wird nicht. Oh. Ich gehe jetzt hier einfach mal durch. Ja.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callas when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callas, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callas was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callas's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine 2 things. 1, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, The guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to
Würde mich nicht wundern, wenn sowas noch als
I
Anspielung kommt.
concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I
Die
won't try to
weiße.
refute
Oh,
your
das
points
ist,
one
weil.
by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Oh.
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further
Danke.
investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to
Hey,
dismiss
no.
this completely, you'd also think
geht
I'm
ab?
not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
Oh.
Suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson to work in
Snezhnaya?
some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the
Russisch.
unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been.
Geklaut würde ich nie sagen. Die machen viele Anspielungen.
Me and the rest
Es
of
gab
the
auch schon
victims
Yu-Gi-Oh!
is
Anspielungen,
that I
Pokémon.
still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency has long been
Und
taken
das,
from
was du
them,
sagst, ne, war, ergibt schon Sinn.
families were destroyed by synth abuse. The people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people
Aber
who
kann
suffered
gut eine
tragic
Anspielung sein.
ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Kurz zuvor am Eingang zum Hauptquartier des Stripenzias. Ey, da sind wir. Ja, ganz einen Roman von mir gelesen. Auf den letzten Seiten war eine scheiß B-Movie-Anspielung. Ich wollte mich erschießen. Ja, weil alles, was du für Cringe in deinem Kopf siehst, weil das Internet das irgendwie so gemacht hat, ist automatisch das Schlechteste überhaupt und darf niemals irgendwo benutzt werden und niemand darf irgendwas lustig finden oder... Eieieiei, Hundi. Finden wir... Ne, wir sind in der Dings, okay. Nicht weil cringe, das kam nur absolut unerwartet. Bist du noch nicht so weit, Noro? Nee, warte, du bist doch schon so weit, oder? Der Graf wurde hier nämlich erst als Schuldiger da gedingst. So, hey, Du bist schuld. Rex Fatui. Oha. Wie die hier aussehen.
There is no escape. By royal let the magic begin. Over here. Torn to oblivion.
Gibt's hier Kisten? Glaube nicht.
Whoa! The
Oh.
floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for
Das
this
ist Nummer
place.
11? Ich weiß gar nicht, wie viele es gibt. Ah, Kiste, Kiste, Kiste. Nom, 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 nom.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Maybe. Ja, ja, das würde niemals passieren. Ein Hidden Mechanism. Uga, uga. Es gibt nur 11. Ah. Das ergibt Sinn. Weil 11, haha, 11. Der Fatui H11, get it? Als ob du das nicht wusstest. Doch, bestimmt irgendwann mal, aber sowas vergisst man doch. Es ist ja nur eine Zahl. Ei, ei, ei. Außerdem gibt es ja jetzt nur noch 10. Nee. 9. Wir haben schon dafür gesorgt, dass es 2 nicht mehr gibt. Und einen davon gibt's gar nicht mehr. Er existiert nicht mal tot. Seine Existenz wurde entfernt aus der Realität. Wow.
But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Shine down.
As you wish, mein Fräulein.
Cue the spotlight. Surprise.
Ja, gut, Theorie und so. Theorien gibt's ja nur zum Spaß.
There is no escape.
Ich möchte nur mehr zum Hexenzirkel mal sehen. Das wäre cool. Mehr Infos zum Hexenzirkel. So Please Moody und so. Nur gleich Fatui-Meister wollten gerne erben. Doch Huntis Tod hat's kaputt gemacht, denn er hat kein Geld. Hexenzeug kannst du eckige Kreise machen, ja, so eine Art. Dann sind wir ganz frei. Da weiß man nichts drüber. Naja. Im Endeffekt ist es einfach nur Definitionssache. Und vielleicht gibt es ja einen, von dem wir nichts wissen. Hey. Der Ort sieht ganz nett aus. Kann ich da rein? Nee. Ein Zirk gebrochen. Das war so eine Scheißgerät. Nur, dass man mal so einen beschissenen Kreis machen kann. Wen interessiert's? So ein Dreck. Naja, genau. Hallo ihr. Das kämpfen.
Don't be scared. Shadow Regen. Cue the spotlight. Over here. Help get it, you Glay. You Glay. By royal decree. Surprise.
Hey, jetzt sind wir in einer Höhle. Sonst ein Winkel im Kreis. Ja, ja. Den Kreis nicht mal. Ja, das geht. Also. Ei, stimmt, da hast du recht. Was sollen wir nur ohne diese Kackwinkel? In Kreis natürlich. Die Kampf. Ja. Mega gut. Wenn ich raten müsste, wird er wohl gerade Navias Anschuldigungen über sich ergehen lassen.
That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the Opera House and help Navia.
Allgemein die Musik und Fontaine ist nett. Ich mag die. Ich muss sie mir noch ein bisschen genauer anhören. Ich habe ja noch nicht, also so einfach auf YouTube oder so. Und die Trailer-Theme von Nivillette ist mega nice. Hier stehen sogar Namen drauf.
Oh, Paimon sees it cute, but why are all these cute things labeled with different girls' names?
Also vermutlich den Opfern der vermissten Fällen gehört.
You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? They were brought here? And then they were turned into water. And all the boxes of things. These names. That means... Oh, this is terrible.
Waschen.
Whoa. There's so much synth here. And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of
Für
the
mich ist das aber mit Paimon. Mach doch. Mein Gute, sind das viele.
Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stock sample? Huh. They've also got all the synth pretty clearly labeled. Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth?
Sieht so aus, als würden sie hier Synth herstellen.
Yep, it's super obvious.
Pixar ist anstrengend. Weichei-Gelabere.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea and use his theory as a foundation to achieve a breakthrough. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 23, and 24 were dissolved.
Beruhig dich.
Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that Paimon's never read something so scary before. How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going.
Willst du sagen, dass du kein Talent hast? Das Ziel des Forschers ist, seiner einstigen Geliebten namens Vinier zu helfen, die sich aufgelöst hatte.
So that's why he did all of these experiments. But did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
Wahrheit.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Er ist der Forscher. Oh.
You mean Vacher is the one who did all of these... experiments?
Vacher heißt Kuh. Er ist wohl eine Kuh. Viele der Laborberichte tragen seine Unterschrift. Diese Stimme im Brunnen muss womöglich die von Vinier gewesen sein. Vacher. Aber da ist ein R dabei, Humbini. Das ist keine Kuh, sondern eine Kur.
So that's it. Vacher was no victim, but personally took his lover and... No, that's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water?
Da muss noch mehr dahinter stecken.
In any case, Paimon will write it all down.
Ich bin immer noch überrascht, dass Paimon schreiben kann. Ein Buch, der heißt Livre, praktisch Buch. Es ist ein Schreiber, ein Autor. Eine Kur ist ein sehr gesundheitsbewusstes Huftier. Ja. Bodybuilder-Kuh.
Oh, look! There's an important looking basin over here, and it's full of water.
Das wird wohl Wasser des Omers sein.
That means this is where they make all the synth. And that special water is the main ingredient.
Cow-Tools.
If you dilute it with normal
Weiß ich
water,
nicht.
you'll get synth.
Vom Namen her
But
nicht.
the pure stuff can dissolve a human. Paimon will take notes on this incriminating evidence. Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eyes. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him.
Es muss wohl etwas mit seinem Fall von damals zu tun haben.
Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus because of a lack of confidence that Jacques himself would go through with it. This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Und wie erklärst du es mir auch? Steht da auch etwas?
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Navia. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Die sind ziemlich durchtrieben.
They're all just so evil. We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot on. But
Wer ist Wahrheit?
yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Nervalet wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time ago. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit.
Aber vielleicht nicht gerissen genug. Sehen wir uns noch mal um.
Sure thing. Paimon won't admit defeat to this guy either.
Was soll ich sagen? Ja, hä? Hä, wie? Hunti, ich möchte seine Blutgruppe wissen. Alter. Dumme Frage, ey. Was denn sonst? Aber ich meine, hier mit den Sachen zu reden, bringt mir jetzt nicht mehr viel, oder? Also... Haben wir alle gelabert? Ich bin, hä? Hier ist, hier Regal. Ja gut, dann. Kann ich nicht. Okay. Was ist, wenn ich hier lang gehe? Was ist, wenn ich... Oh, ich könnte die Sphäre verlassen, aber... Was war die andere Option? Hätten wir hier rausgehen können? Ah, ich habe eine Suchfunktion. Oh, das wusste ich nicht. Jetzt weiß ich's. Soll ich nochmal alles anlabern? Wobei hier war gerade was. Ja, nochmal alles anlabern. Ah. Drücke E. Ah, ja, hab's auch schon gefunden. Danke, trotzdem. Nach einer Weile. Oh mein Gott. Nicht mal essen. Mann, ich habe hier etwas zu essen.
Oh, really? Let Paimon see. Venier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her diary. Let's see. Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet, too. Oh, Paimon feels even worse for her now.
Oh, sie hat sich Gedanken um einen Kindernamen gemacht.
So many! A whole page's worth! But they're all crossed out. Was she unhappy with all of them? The final name she decided on was... Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Venier's grown son?
Ja, Hundi, das sind halt so Standarddinger. Ich habe die Antwort.
Hey! Paimon still hasn't figured it out yet.
Ab nach Opera Epiglese.
Image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
Du sagst also, dass du noch nie von Vache gehört hast? Bam, 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 bam. Fuck.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything. After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to
Nein, hat er nicht, und
in
sie.
the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
Hat nicht gelogen.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people. Venier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, I will follow. But I'm not from this blasted place, so I can't be dissolved, no matter what I do.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go, I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back? I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to save Vignere. A promise. We made a promise. Vignere! Please, Vignere! Don't think badly of me. All I want to do is fulfill our promise.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Ooh. Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances case.
Eine Spülmaschine.
The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignere. During an underwater expedition, Vignere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignere back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel.
Nonik. Hallo.
And began to operate a business in Poisson.
Was geht?
During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years,
Nicht wie bei mir? Bei mir! Auch nicht viel. Aber ich spiele Genshin. Storyzeug. Ja,
Although the
Mann.
assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all.
Yay!
The
Wow.
oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vacher. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher is guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Und holen sie auch gleich mit.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over now.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Was für eine dumme Aussage. Was für eine absolut dumme Aussage.
People, and now he's finally getting what he deserves. Huh? Are you okay?
Aber er ist doch nett. Wie kann er etwas Böses tun?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely brilliant.
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come. You can rest easy now, knowing justice has been served.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finally over.
Nee, Hundi. Also ja,
It's all thanks to you guys.
aber es
And
wurde...
my partner.
Okay, ich hab nicht gelesen, was stand denn dran? Aber unmoralisch war ja auch dabei. Da war ja, das war, oder was stand dran? Vielleicht habe ich es falsch gesehen. Also ich habe es nicht richtig gelesen, dann vermutlich. Naja, die Aussage war ziemlich dumm mit, oh, wie kann jemand, der so nett und so gut reden kann, hoho, wie kann er nur so unmoralisch sein? So eine unmoralische Tat getan haben. Das dachte ich, was er sagt. Wer hätte gedacht, dass der Täter so unmoralisch sein könnte? Okay, dann war es sehr schlecht übersetzt. Über was redet ihr? Über das Spiel! Über diese Situation. Über die Hauptstory.
Well, now, hasn't this been
Was
a
gerade
most
passiert?
delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to. So, if you'll excuse me...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ugh, what now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Ja, und die ist auch schrecklich, das ist stimmt, das stimmt.
Really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Oh, jetzt kommt der Plot-Twist, jetzt wird nämlich gesagt, oh mein Gott, Schilde, du bist schuld, oh mein Gott, der Graf ist schuld.
Of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
Ah, ich wusste es. Das war so offensichtlich.
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
Was hat es damit nur auf sich? Pass auf, Leute, alles klar, noch nicht. Bye.
By law, the final verdict of the court. We must accept the guilty verdict. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court protocol.
Tschüss, Graf. Oh, mit Cutscene. Was passiert jetzt? Haut wohl ab.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Magical girl! Jo, die Musik geht voll ab.
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. but the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the Oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Wenn es sogar der oberste Richter nicht weiß, haben wir keine andere Wahl, als den Hydroarchon selbst zu fragen. Ey, ein Grund mit dem Hydroarchon zu reden. Endlich! Ich bin kurz weg. Jo, bis gleich.
I don't know what happened there either. Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
Und wie langweilig ist die eigentlich gerade?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of some sort of random mishap? Don't tell me you thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's result.
Es war nur ein sudden Anstoß an, haha, ich mache mich jetzt mit 20 Sätzen nacheinander über das Spiel lustig.
Given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement, was a part of an elaborate performance, with every action meant to stir up drama and excitement. And, of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. As the embodiment of the very concept of justice, the Oratrice shall never render an arbitrary judgment! If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of innocence. Everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and completely unforgivable! All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the Oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea.
Du weißt jedenfalls, wie du ihr den Boden unter den Füßen wegziehen kannst.
However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
Jo, okay.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Bam! Okay. Es geht noch weiter. Noch was? Das habe ich übersehen. Ah. Boah, Hunti, hast du dir schon die Ost von... Du hast dir ja heute von Fontaine was angeschaut. Das war aber vermutlich kein Ostgedöns, sondern einfach ein YouTube-Channel, den du folgst. Du weißt, dass du irgendwann mal noch die ganzen Fontaine-Sachen anhören musst. Weil du dich selbst geopfert hast. Jede einzelne Ost, jedes Videospiels überhaupt anzuhören in deinem Leben. Oh.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing over here?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll add another charge to the list.
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you.
Traveler! Where are
I
you
was being
going,
led away when I
Traveler?
finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name. So, unless...
Are you still
Unless...
trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Ich habe sie getroffen.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it?
Ich verließ mich auf meine Wahrnehmung des Hydroelements.
The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. And I just never... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterwards. I don't care.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of super terrible things?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs?
Okay, es war jetzt ein bisschen komisch, dass auf einmal so mit sich selber redet.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable hands, Chief Justice.
Chief Justice!
Thank you, Your Honor.
Dann ab zum Brunnen. Dun, 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 dun. Er müsste ja gleich in der Nähe sein. Direkt davor, korrekt.
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Aber damals das Wasser des oben erst getrunken. Es hat eine Wahrnehmung für das Hydroelement erhöht.
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well? Oh, in that case...
Vache.
Oh!
Yes, that's it! So you heard it too!
Vignier, it's me! It's me, Vache!
Vache? Vache.
I'm here! Where are you, Vignier? I'm coming for you. I'm finally here for you.
Hey, wait! Be careful! Hey, wait!
Vignier, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vignier!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You look a lot older than I remember. How long has it been?
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Nothing else mattered to me. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like this? Vignier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vacher, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you.
What are you saying?
Oof.
If not for you,
Yep.
I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia itself. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone, with nothing but the tears on her cheeks. It's all because of your selfishness, Vacher. It's all because of you.
You... Wait, you are not Vignier. Who are you?
You're right. I am not Vignier. I am the sacrifices. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the primordial sea. Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals, but we became one, just as streams of water come together in the sea. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vignier.
Why? But then, where is Vignier?
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vignier's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignier's, she has had nothing but pure hatred for you.
Oh,
No! Vignier! She can't hate me.
Dieses Mal wurde es nicht
Let me see
vorgelesen.
her. Please, have mercy.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. She really doesn't want to see you anymore. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop of pity for you. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vacher.
Vacher? Vacher. 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 Vacher.
Vacher.
Drown.
Wer fand die Gendermie heraus? Viel zu schnell. Da komme ich doch nicht hinterher, Mann. Einige Tage später. Ey, 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 Vacher ist tot. Opfer, Opfer, Opfer. Hey, Lucy. Hola.
We have some time to do shopping.
Was geht?
Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Ja, spazieren gehen ist aber auch so hart. Ey, so eine harte Arbeit, ich sag's dir.
Well met, partner.
Ey,
I
Navia.
knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good mood today.
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
Abendessen.
Pleasure to see you
Nice.
both again.
Was gibt's denn?
Oh, hey, Navia!
Mm.
It's been a few days. Paimon's already started to miss you.
Oh lol. Wusste ich nicht, Noro.
Now that
Weiß man,
at
dass es
least.
Purina
I'm
ist?
easy to work with and always bring home the bacon. Who
Und
wouldn't
selbst?
treasure
Ah,
having
bei
a
mir
partner
passiert nicht
like
viel.
me?
Ich spiele Genshin. Main Story. Voll nice.
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia. What have you been busy with since the trial?
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making
Mm.
non-stop trips between Poisson and the courts in Sen.
Fuck.
Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a
Der
memorial for
Aachen.
my father. We
Die
never
Aachen.
held a memorial when he first
Ist
died,
Furina.
since everyone knew that even if
Mytho
we
Aachen.
held one back then, no one was going to come. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared
Oh,
now. That's
cool.
what we like to hear.
Wusste ich nicht.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle all along.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my faith in him. I'm so glad I didn't give up on the case all those years ago.
Hat alles ein glückliches Ende gefunden.
Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorial
Ooh.
service. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let me go.
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? The Charlotte? Journalist from the Steambird?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I believe the story was called
Offiziell?
The True
Genshin?
Heart of Darkness.
Die würden sowas
Tales
normalerweise
of
nicht
Yellow
zeigen, aber hey,
Rose.
vielleicht haben sie es
To
getan.
be fair though, it was
Also
a
so
really
Secrets.
flattering feature.
Interessant.
So, we've been on pretty good terms ever since. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case, so now her wish has finally come true too.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing to look forward to. We trust Charlotte's skills with a pen for sure.
Oh, and in other news, I also took
Okay.
Clarand out for a meal.
Oh, are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clarand gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time, so we took the chance to reconcile with each other.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clarand wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good to have more friends.
Jo. Kann man ja mal googeln und schauen.
Now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness.
Aber nicht jetzt.
Actually, there's still one last thing I need to do.
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened, as well as how it all ended. And on top of that, just how much people still look up to him to this day. That includes me, too.
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
Darf ich auch mitkommen?
We want to go too. We also think Callus is a
Aufhören?
really admirable
Wieso das?
person.
Kein Speicherplatz.
I'd like you two to share the moment with me. After all, without you, there might not have been such a positive ending.
And in that case, everyone,
Mm.
let's be off.
Rip.
Considering the recent weather, we'll be lucky if we can reach Poisson before dark.
Aber habe ich jetzt wieder angefangen, Star Rail zu
It's
spielen?
been raining non-stop for a few days now.
Und Scheiß. Kann ich wieder runter machen? Warum das?
This is where my father's grave is. To be perfectly
Kann man das nicht auf eine SD-Karte
even I
draufhauen?
haven't been back here
Kauft
for
einfach eine größere
a
SD-Karte.
long time.
Bin mir unsicher. Aber es müsste eigentlich sein, oder?
Already. Wait. That figure. It can't be.
Hmm?
Isn't that Nervalette?
Hey.
Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before
Kein
coming
Geld.
to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown, but still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on
Neuvillette ist
understanding
ziemlich
human
cool.
emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Sein Gameplay
In
wirkt
any
super
case,
cool. Mit seinem
why did you
Laser.
come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own nature, or consider certain things to be more important than their own lives.
Ich meine, ja,
Which is also
okay.
why I didn't stop
Kann ich
my
verstehen.
father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more important than one's own continued survival. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this day. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people completely unrelated to him. And in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all for the sake of justice. A justice that's higher than life itself. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed all of this much sooner. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being mad at you before. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh? That reminds me of Silver, one of my guys.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my strong suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Ah, so Navia and Neuvillette seem to have made their peace as well. Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done.
Könnte auch schon sein.
Paimons never paid respects at someone's grave before.
Nee, die Archons, die sind eigentlich immer
Do anything rude there?
Charaktere, die nicht unbedingt auf dem Feld, also die auch off-field gespielt werden können und nicht unbedingt on-field gespielt werden müssen. Aber er muss auf jeden Fall on-field gespielt werden. Weil man halt als Off-Field-Charakter viel länger wichtig ist, sag mal so. Er hat ein cooles Gameplay, er wird aber nicht atemberaubend krass sein, super stark. Er wird halt seine Dingens haben, seine Nische vermutlich. Geh mal bei Furina davon aus, dass die halt auf jeden Fall Off-Field gespielt werden kann, dass sie dann auch noch viele verschiedene Sachen, also viele verschiedene Punkte für ein Team halt abstempelt, mehr oder weniger, weil es ihn auch ist. So wie Casa Anemo. Nee, absolut nicht. Er ist ein Main-DPS auf jeden Fall. Er macht so ein, er lädt so einen Laser auf und schießt ihn und das kostet ihn halt Teil von seinem HP und währenddessen spawnen halt um ihn rum so Kügelchen, die er aufheben kann, um sich zu heilen. Genau so Kügelchen, die auch der Hydro MC fallen lässt. Ich hoffe, Furina ist hyperblumen-tauglich. Ich glaube, die müsste eigentlich sein. Also von den Leaks her weiß ich, dass sie ziemlich viel Hydro-Element Dingst, bleibt. Also, soweit ich weiß. Ich freue mich auf jeden Fall schon auf die. Fliegen ist beim Ehrerbieten eines Grabens normalerweise nicht gestattet. Oh mein Gott. Ja, los auf den Boden, Paimon. Ich will sehen, wie Paimon läuft. Tja, das wirklich geglaubt.
Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go talk to him for a bit? If we can't talk to Lady Furina, we can at least talk to him, right?
So. Also es wird auf jeden Fall on-field DPS. Und Furina kann auf jeden Fall off-field Sachen machen. Die spawnt, laut den Leaks, spawnt die so Wasserviecher, die halt Gegner angreifen. So ein bisschen wie Yai. Nur die Wasserviecher bewegen sich und man spawnt direkt 3. Und muss nicht 3-mal nacheinander spawnen. Warum ist kein Ton? Es müsste tot sein, die anderen hören mich. Oder meinst du Ingame-Ton? Ingame-Ton müsste man auch hören. Was sagen die anderen?
I see. Then is there something that I can help you with?
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this since you're usually super busy.
Please feel free.
It's on. Okay.
Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor.
Freirunde. Über das Wasser des Urmeers.
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but what is it really?
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured much of the life on this planet.
Huh. So it really was where everything began. It makes sense to call it primordial then.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people, at least people from Fontaine, dissolve in that kind of water?
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown secrets around the people of this land. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
Kennst du die Prophezeiung, die Fontaine kursiert?
That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Furina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed away for good. Does that appropriately summarize the version you
Das passt auch mit dem Wasser von dem Urmeer zusammen.
It was Linny that told us back then. And that about covers all the main points.
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow. This is the first time that we've ever heard of it.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant and stay on the watch for further signs. Speaking of the prophecy, Furina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, She has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina by her predecessor.
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really trust her to solve it?
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
Über den Grafen Tartaglia.
My apologies. My investigation has still not reached its conclusion.
Wasser trinken nicht vergessen.
I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered arbitrarily.
But you also said you thought he was innocent.
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits, such as self-awareness. Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like this for a long time.
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room where the Oratrice's core is stored...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to the list of items to investigate. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. We just do not have enough information. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though, with her time-tested twin tricks of bravado and drama. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede. If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
Hast du meinen Bruder gesehen? Random, aber hey.
Your sibling. Another blonde-haired traveler. I'm sorry, but I've never seen anyone who matches that description. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera Epicles. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
Nope, das war's. Glaube ich. Nope.
Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. I very much enjoyed conversing with you. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind and return to Palais Memonia.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay your respects today because you had the day off.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well. This is merely the nature of a justice's work.
All right, you've got a point. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
Bam! Erledigt. Oh, ey. Hydro-Dingens bekommen und dann sind wir hier auch. Bam! Oh Gott, so viel Gedöns. Hier ein neues Sternbild. Das erste sogar. Was den Hydro-MC nicht besser macht. Ja, also, vielleicht ein bisschen, aber es ist so schade, dass der Hydro-MC so unglaublich schlecht ist. Warum ist der Skill so mega kacke? Das ist so traurig. Aber hey, benutzen wir sie halt nicht. Hätte sie gern benutzt. Und wir haben ja auch noch mehr davon und den Legendenauftrag für Linny. Gleich mal aktivieren. Also haben wir noch cool was zu tun, werde ich nicht jetzt machen. Aber ich habe nichts anderes von Hydro erwartet. Ja, es ist halt MC. Aber jetzt, nachdem halt der Dendro-MC tatsächlich gut war, da war halt die Hoffnung da, vielleicht kommt ja was spielbar ist. Aber der Hydro-MC ist ja so kackenschlecht, dass man sich so hart ins Bein schießt, wenn man den verwendet. Anime Lucy ist sowieso die beste Variante. Die ist halt wenigstens auf der Overworld richtig gut. Aber Hydro-MC ist halt überall kacke. Oh Mann. Aber dafür haben wir Lynette bekommen und die ist super. Die ist super. Die gefällt mir. Ich habe sie auch mittlerweile. Mal schauen. Talente sind schon auf 8,8. Verbessern kann ich noch nicht ganz. Mir fehlen hier noch ein paar. Aber dann ist sie auch schon verbessert. Ich habe auch ganz okay Werte mit ihr. Ich finde Elektro-MC am besten. Ich meine, Elektro kann als Batterie genutzt werden. Aber wenn man Fische hat, gibt es halt absolut gar keinen Grund, Elektro-MC zu spielen. Weil die halt einfach alles besser macht. Aber Fische ist auch hart okay. Einer der besten Charaktere im Spiel. Ja, gut. Aber ja, Elektro-MC ist eine gute Batterie. Das kann ich dazu sagen. So. Aber ich glaube, ich werde für heute Schluss machen. Es war jetzt viel Story. Fast 3 Stunden Story gemacht. Jetzt auch mit dem Update fertig. Das nächste Update ist ja nicht mehr lange hin, oder? Oh, ja, das nächste. Morgen ist ja schon das nächste Update, oder? Kann das sein? Ah. Der arme, was heißt der arme Piepmatz? Da gibt es noch viel mehr, wo der herkam. Wo ist denn hier? Mord und Totschlag. Zack, zack. Du kannst gerade, ja, das habe ich auch schon runtergeladen. Kommt vermutlich morgen dann, ja. Weil, ja, Hauptstory weitermachen wäre cool, aber ich habe jetzt noch so viel andere. Muss ich schauen, was ich als nächstes mache. Und ob ich die hier überhaupt in Stream mache oder off-Stream. Und dann Hauptstory weiter, wobei vermutlich mache ich die schon on-Stream. Kommt drauf an, wann ich das nächste Mal stream. Ich versuche das relativ bald zu machen, kann es aber nicht garantieren. Vielleicht das nächste Mal auch ein bisschen später, dass Lucy nicht erst arbeiten muss, weil, wisst ihr, ist ja doof. Wenn ich immer so früh streame, was soll denn das? Der blöde Schwer, was macht der denn? So ein Drecksack. Mal schauen. So. Machen wir hier nochmal. Und ich bin auch, also, das Blöde ist, der nächste Banner hat einen richtig guten Waffenbanner. Aber ich möchte natürlich garantiert Furina haben. Was halt, ja. Da muss ich mal schauen. Aber ja gut, Waffenbanner ist eh ein Scam, sollte man nie machen, aber da ist Stuff of Homer, dann noch dieses andere Buch von Nevilette, was recht geil ist. Weil es hat super viel Crit-Damage, glaube ich. Außer ich verwechsel gerade was. Und die 4-Stern-Waffen sind auch ziemlich gut. Wow.
Illusion shattered. Roll. There is no escape. Quietly now.
Mit war gar nicht. Ja, ich weiß aber gar nicht, ob ich morgen streamen kann, aber mal schauen. Vielleicht. Schön wär's. Muss ich noch gucken. Wenn die Zeit sich hergibt dafür. Oh, ja, Kelch. Oh, Kelch, verdammt. Animo, Kelch, ja. Warum 2 Flatstats? Ich will auch eine Nevilette haben, spar aber weiter auf Schau. Das ist aber nicht mehr garantiert wegen schon. Wär's schon.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Gotcha. Busted. Game's up. Fun's over.
Throw, throw, throw. Come on out. Yeah. Commit it to memory. Now you shall perish.
Chun-Li natürlich. Ach, Chun-Li. Okay. Ja, verstehe. Verstehe. Also ich will auf jeden Fall Furina und ich hätte gerne Navia. Weil da vermutlich auch Goro dabei ist dann. Da brauche ich auf jeden Fall mal schauen muss wegen Furina, was sie für eine Waffe dann spielen kann. Chun-Li und Mona back to back. Wieder. Oha, voll nice. Voll nice. Ich habe ja Chi-Chi vor kurzem bekommen. Mit relativ wenig Pity. Also ich habe es gerade auch recht nice. Brauche nicht super viel. Für Furina dann. Das macht's ganz nett. Du warst doch dabei beim Pullen. Stimmt. Stimmt. Da war was. LP Sense können Verteidigung und LP Crit-Schaden. Ich wird daraus was? Crit und Crit, Verteidigung. Oh Mann, was will ich mit Verteidigung? Aber wer weiß, vielleicht auch nicht. Haarreif mit Verteidigung halt. Nee. Das eine hat den. Okay. Schau mal ganz kurz, ob der Crit reinkommt. Und ob ich es gleich weghauen kann. Hier. Verteidigung. Will ich es trotzdem behalten? Eigentlich nicht. Nee. Ihr und euer Chun-Li. Ich meine, Chun-Li ist toll, das stimmt. Soundtrack ist aber gut. Oh ja. Ja. Mega gut.
Busted. Game's up. Fun's over.
Inazuma shines eternal. Illusion shattered.
Come on out. Bye. Make yourselves at home.
Gotcha.
Hi, lad auf.
Here comes the catch.
Milo. Hallo Milo. Wollte Chun-Li aber meinen 50-50 bei Nico verloren, wie man sie nennt. Chi-Chi. Oh, RIP. Der Klassiker. Chi-Chi. Macht einen immer die 50-50s kaputt. Bei mir eigentlich nicht. Ich habe die vor kurzem bekommen. Und ich habe mich sogar drüber gefreut, weil ich hatte die davor noch nie. Irgendwann verbessere ich sie auch einfach so, weil... einfach so. Weil die Charaktere, die ja schlecht zählen, die verbessere ich gerne mal. Ich habe die mittlerweile auch. Wir können ja kurz in meinen Pity reinschauen. Hier. Bam. Chichi. Nice. Das ist traurig. Ja, du hast jetzt auch keine Zeit mehr für Chun-Li. Traurig. Aber. Falls ihr noch nicht so die krassesten Dingens habt, schaut euch mal hier. Schaut euch mal die 4-Stars an. Xingqiu, vermutlich die beste Einheit im kompletten Spiel. Fischl, auch einer der besten Einheiten überhaupt. Die beiden sind mega krass. Mega krass gut und Diona ist ein guter Schilder. Also Milo, wenn du eigentlich Zhongli haben wolltest, dann wäre Diona ein guter Ersatz und die anderen 4-Stern-Einheiten hier drin sind halt mega gut. Also kann ich nur empfehlen, den nächsten Banner. Richtig, richtig heftig guter Banner. Die 4-Stars hier drin sind so gut. Noch auf C1 würde ich nicht. Lohnt sich nicht wirklich, weil nochmal so eine Säule hinzumachen ist jetzt nicht so krass, weil du hast halt mit ihm sowieso schon krass genug Schild. Xingqiu wollte ich immer haben. Ey, Noro auch. Ja, Xingqiu ist mega gute Einheit. Also wirklich hammerkrass gut. Also, ich sagte ja, vermutlich die beste Einheit im Spiel. Ja, es ist die beste Einheit im Spiel. Wenn man weiß, was man macht, auf jeden Fall. Dann ist Xingqiu insane gut. Ich habe halt noch 68 Puls und mit Zweifels würde ich auch noch an mehr kommen. Der nächste Banner ist richtig gut. Vielleicht, ich meine, da kannst du dir ja auch den neuen Hydro Daddy holen. Hat 3 Charakters, die ich immer haben wollte. Skamushichu und Chichi. Ja, man kriegt immer die nicht, die man haben will, oder? Ich meine, ich warte immer noch auf Goro. Ich hab Albedo, ich hab Zhongli und ich hab Noel. Hier mit richtig guten Werten. Schon komplett bereit. Mir fehlt einfach nur Goro. Ich habe sogar... Wo ist Amber? Hier, ich habe sogar ein unglaublich gutes Set für ihn. Hier dieses verbannte Set mit guten Werten. Mit viel Aufladerate. Hier 200 Aufladerate und einen guten Crit. Dass er dann mit Favonius gut Energie hergeben kann. Aber ich krieg Goro nicht. Ich krieg ihn einfach nicht. So ein Dreck. Mann, ich habe alles für ihn bereit. Ich habe alles für ihn bereit. Ich habe Noel sogar. Noch nicht ganz fertig, aber ich habe hier sogar schon eine Krone draufgehauen. Und das hier kommt auch noch. Da fehlt noch ein bisschen. Wie fies. 4 Wochen diese Mission geschafft, diese Wangshu. Wangshu Inn? Kann sein, kann sein. Bin mir gerade nicht ganz sicher, aber. Oh Gott, was habe ich alles überlesen? Was auf der Karte nicht gezeigt wurde. Ach, du meinst. Oh mein Gott. Meinst du zufälligerweise hier? Oder, oh, was war das? Ich glaube, ich weiß, was du meinst. Noel war mein erster Pool. Ja, die ist auch die hat auch ihr eigenes Banner. Das Beginner-Banner, das hat ja auf jeden Fall Noel immer drin. Dann kriegt man die. Die ist auch echt super. Fürs Durchspielen richtig gut. Aber wenn man sie halt tatsächlich für den Abyss benutzen will, dann braucht man sie halt auf C6. Damit man sie halt auch für Damage benutzen kann. Und man braucht Goro. Okay, brauchen vielleicht nicht unbedingt. Man kann auch bestimmt andere Teams machen, aber ich habe sie halt eigentlich schon bereit. Kann mit dir richtig Damage raushauen. Mir fehlt aber dieser blöde Goro. Benutze sie nicht mehr. Ja, sie ist halt, es lohnt sich halt später auch nur sie zu benutzen, wenn man sie auf C6 hat. Darum kann ich das verstehen. Hunde, Junge, ja. Skara, Jupp, Chichi, Jupp, Xingqiu, Jupp. Ja, ich habe nur Chichi und Xingqiu. Skara habe ich nicht gepult. Kannst mein Goro haben. Gerne. Für deine Puls. Weißt du was? Fast. Ja, wenn ich Furina habe, dann kannst du die Puls haben, wenn ich dafür Goro bekomme. Bleibe bei Racer, Bennett und Sayo. Ich liebe Sayo. Ist ja jetzt auch anscheinend kein guter Charakter, ist mir aber egal. Ich benutze sie trotzdem. Ich habe sie noch nicht gekrönt. Ich kröne sie auch noch. Mir geht nur der Elementarnektar aus. Ich habe schon hier gefarmt. Ich spiele sie auch sehr gerne. Ich habe eine coole Waffe für sie. Ganz viel Elementarkunde. Viel Aufladerate. Und trotzdem gute Crit-Stats. Ich bin zufrieden mit meiner Sayo. Die ist wunderbar. Ich liebe ihren Skill. Immer durch die Gegend zu rollen. Warum ist sie in meinem Team, Leute? Wer, Lynette? Weil Lynette ist auch toll. Also, ich meine, ich bin froh über Lynette, dass sie rauskam. Ich habe mir erhofft, noch ein paar mehr Konstellationen zu bekommen, zu holen. Vor allem die hier hätte ich gerne, dass man den eh nochmal einsetzen kann, aber so weit bin ich nicht gekommen. Aber die kommen auch von alleine dazu. Braucht noch ein bisschen, aber freue ich mich noch. Wie alt? Ich? Uff, ich bin schon uralt. Eieiei. Ich bin schon 7. Ja, richtig krass. Nee, ich bin 27. Fürs Internet bin ich ein Boomer, glaube ich. Oder für Genshin auf jeden Fall. Nicht gebildet. Ich habe sie direkt. Weil ich mag ihr Gameplay. Vor allem dieses dieses Rumdashen ist cool. Etwas langsam, aber ich mag diesen Dash am Ende davon. Super nice. 21 geworden. Alter, ist schon. Ja, fast. Wie, du weißt, du hast mich schon mal gefragt, Loro. Kirarado. Ja, aber die habe ich nicht. Außerdem. Ich weiß nicht. Bei Kirara fand ich die Ult irgendwie doof. Hier finde ich die Ult gut. 14 Jahre alt. Ja, gut. Ich meine. So, ja. Ja, gut. Eieiei. Adden in Genshin. Ja, bringt nicht super viel, aber hier ist mein Code. Moment, ich schicke ihn kurz rein. Ja, das ist mein Code. Ab 28 ist mal. Oh, fuck. Nee, also ja. Ich würde sagen, ab 30 ist mehr oder weniger alles vorbei. Dann kannst du eigentlich schon in den Boden rein. Also. Da ist Schluss mit lustig. Da tut einem bestimmt alles weh. Ich weiß nicht, wie es ist, weil ich noch nicht 30 bin, aber ich kann mir vorstellen, da tut einem alles weh und man hat gar keine Knochen mehr, man zerfällt einfach zu Staub. So, jetzt aber, ich heile mich noch kurz hier bei so einem Ding. Habe ich überhaupt? Weiß nicht. Ja, die später. Jo, ich werde jetzt vermutlich aufhören zu streamen. Das nächste Mal, wenn ich on bin, werde ich dich dann annehmen. So. Ich bin jetzt bei 3 Stunden für heute. Reicht erstmal. Hat jetzt noch Spaß gemacht. Definitiv, die Hauptstory ist immer gut in Genshin. Die tut so, als sei noch 19. Ja, würde ich auch behaupten. Das ist alles Vorspielerei. Die ist bestimmt auch schon zu Staub zerfallen. Innerlich. Sag ich dir, mit 30 ist Ende. Aber früher das Spiel gesuchtet. Ich meine, ich suchte es immer noch. 100%, überall 100%. Ja, ich meinte natürlich, ich spiele es ja kaum. Also, ja klar. Vor allem 100% ist nicht mal, 100% ist nicht mal 100%. Wenn man 100% in einem Gebiet hat, dann gibt es da immer noch verdammt viele Kisten. Esmo, hallo. Was geht? Boah, warum kommen jetzt auf einmal so viele Leute dazu, wenn ich beenden will? Ich sollte das nächste Mal später anfangen zu streamen, ja. Definitiv. Oh. Also, Für die, die neu dazugekommen sind. Tut mir leid. Ich hatte jetzt vor zu beenden. Wir haben gerade die Hauptstory aktuell gespielt. Ich bin trotzdem noch ein bisschen hinterher. Ich habe hier noch Zeug zu tun. Und morgen geht es ja wieder weiter. Mit einem neuen Update. Eieiei, da muss ich irgendwie hinterherkommen. Mal schauen, ob ich morgen dann wieder streame. Wenn ja, dann hoffe ich, dass ihr mir dann immer noch... Dass ihr trotzdem da auch noch vorbeischaut. Auch wenn ich jetzt so schnell wieder abhaue. Ohne... Uiuiui. Geht ja gar nicht. Schlechter Streamer. Damit du nicht beendest. Ja, das ist jetzt auch. Aber hey. Ich denke, wir sehen uns vermutlich morgen wieder. Ich kann es nicht garantieren. Wenn morgen nicht, dann die Tage. Könnt ihr abonnieren. Oder Discord join in der Beschreibung. Da schicke ich es auch immer rein. Wie auch immer. Ich beende jetzt und würde sagen, wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal, ja? Spielst du auf PC? Ja, korrekt. Ich spiele auf PC. Ich beende jetzt aber und würde sagen, wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Ciao.